No fucking way. What the hell was that in Blue Lock Chapter 300? An episode so powerful it gives us one of the most emotional moments in the entire manga. And honestly, if it didn't make you cry, you might be missing something in your heart. I'm completely overwhelmed by what Blue Lock has been delivering lately. Every new chapter tops the last in intensity, emotional weight, and quality. And that benefits all of us fans. This particular chapter hit us hard with the heartbreaking farewell between Rio and Nagi, a scene that shattered our hearts. We also saw a few beloved characters saying goodbye, Asagi's final words to Nagi, and finally a spark of hope that maybe Nagi will return. But let's not get too caught up in this intro, because there's a lot to unpack. Just one small favor, please subscribe to the channel. You know how important that is to keep this project growing day by day. From the very beginning, this chapter had me emotionally wrecked. Watching Nagi say goodbye to Rio, while Rio is on the verge of tears, was absolutely devastating. It all starts with Nagi admitting Ego was right, that he felt completely satisfied after beating Isagi, and had no further motivation to continue. He confesses that his main reason for entering Blue Lock was to be with Rio, and later to beat Isagi. But those dreams were too small to justify staying. His ego just wasn't as big as everyone else's. He never found true fulfillment in what he was doing, and always fell just short of something greater. Then Nagi apologizes to Rio for not being able to keep going. Even though moving forward was often frustrating, being with Rio made it all worth it. Nagi acknowledges that their bond was the greatest treasure of his life. He also apologizes for the hurtful things he said in the past, all with the intent to evolve. It's a beautiful moment, and it makes it clear that what existed between Nagi and Rio was real, sincere, and deep love. Rio, overwhelmed with emotion, tells him he doesn't need to apologize, that it's okay, that he forgives him for pushing him so hard, and that now he can rest. To that, Nagi replies that being with Rio brought him light, helped him discover parts of himself he didn't even know existed. That part absolutely breaks me. Those words are truly beautiful, but it doesn't stop there. At one point, Nagi gets serious and confesses to Rio that, although he was always his treasure, maybe if he hadn't asked Mikage for help to beat Isagi, he'd still be in the project. Because in the end, Nagi became completely dependent on Rio, and that dependency wasn't helping him. Being so attached to him became part of his identity, and maybe the world he needed to explore was beyond that point of dependence. He even believes that if he'd stepped aside earlier, Mikage might have grown more too. Rio cries uncontrollably as Nagi puts a hand on his shoulder and says something incredibly touching. Rio, become the best in the world on your own. And honestly, I cry with them. Seeing everyone's reactions also crushes me. Shigiri and Santetsu look empty. Baru is shocked, which makes sense considering how much he shared with Nagi. Even Kunigami looks shaken. Let's not forget he also experienced elimination. And Bachira finally understands the weight of that final goal. He feels like someone he cared about is leaving because of him. His face shows total emptiness. The farewell between Nagi and Rio, and the words they exchange, is one of the most beautiful moments I've seen in Blue Lock. Two beloved characters saying goodbye in such a human way, acknowledging their strengths and flaws, it's just beautiful. And seeing Rio so emotionally destroyed just wrecks your soul. He's such a human character, and watching him go through all of that is heartbreaking. The Neo-Egoist League was supposed to be just another phase, but Nagi is now saying goodbye to the project. However, that's not the end. There's still more. There's an incredible scene where Isagi, seeing Nagi walk away, shouts from across the field, his voice shaking, a tear in his eye, "Don't quit football." A simple phrase, but one with massive emotional power, especially for Nagi, who seemed like he'd lost everything. Isagi is one of his closest friends. He was the one who pushed him during the second selection, becoming his rival and goal to surpass. That rivalry drove him forward. So for Isagi, the one he just beat, to be the one to say that, it's a gesture full of emotional value. And based on that close-up of Nagi, those words spark a tiny flame in his eyes. That's a key moment. Nagi is the protagonist of the spin-off, one of the fandom's most beloved characters. He can't just leave football and go work at McDonald's. With all due respect to that job, I want to see him return to the pitch with more fire than ever. And without a doubt, Isagi's words reignited the spark that was dying. The important thing is to always hold on to a bit of hope and passion. And that's exactly what we just saw. After hitting rock bottom, Nagi found that passion again. In the final panel before his farewell, we see that there's still light in his eyes. The only one who could reignite his inner fire was his greatest rival. Isagi, crying and begging him not to give up football, might just be what pushes Nagi to come back, possibly to Manshine City, and score 80 goals a season to become the top scorer. Mark my words. In Nagi's farewell, we also see other players being eliminated from the Neo Egoist League. From Manshine City, there's Nagi, and also Niu and Hiragi. Both received massive offers, over 10 million, meaning they'll likely play important roles in the future. On the final page, we get even more brutal eliminations. Igarashi leaves sobbing, Niru crying and clutching his jersey, feeling that if he'd had the chance, he could have made it to the World Cup. And honestly, I believe that too. Neru's skills are amazing, and not playing him a single minute is criminal. Hayate and Darai from Japan's U20 also got cut, even though Barca won their last match. Hayate even got a 20 million offer. Finally, there's Tokimitsu, a character full of potential, but his personality holds him back. His elimination after one bad game and his uncontrollable crying is just brutal. We need to learn more about his personal story. I'm sure it holds a lot of answers. Blue Lock worked its magic with Chapter 300. It's a beautiful way to close the arc, with that final panel showing the door shutting and the word losers. But it also leaves us with hope, with the idea that there might be more wild cards, like Kunigami once was. All that's left is to wait and see what happens. This chapter left us with a mix of sadness and hope, and all I can say is cinema. I had to make this video to talk about this chapter because it was truly a masterpiece. It left us full of emotions and the hope that maybe, just maybe, Nagi will come back. I don't know if it'll be soon. Bringing him back in the very next chapter might feel forced, but he could return in the next arc, maybe playing in the lower divisions of Manshine City, showing us that he's found his passion again. I don't think his story ends here. Nagi is way too important and has so much more to offer. A break might lead to an epic evolution, and I'm sure every Blue Lock fan is waiting for that moment as eagerly as I am. Now I want to know what you think in the comments. You know your opinion means the world to me. See you in the next one. Bye!
See you later, family.